Donald Trump's election interference trial set to commence arguments on Monday, escalating Israel-Iran tensions, and Taylor Swift's latest release. Plus more, let's get into it. Alvin Bragg's trial of Donald Trump is set to begin Monday with opening arguments focusing on charges of falsifying business records to influence the 2016 election. And we'll circle back to this in more detail at the end of this show. Details remain limited as Israel conducts airstrikes on Iran, the full impact of which is still unfolding. Neither side appears willing to escalate the tensions further, and we'll see what happens. Johnson's aid package for Ukraine overcomes major legislative hurdles with unusual help from Democratic lawmakers. Far-right Freedom Caucus types such as Margorie Taylor Greene seek to bring up a motion to vacate against Speaker Johnson, but Democrats appear willing to save him. The International Monetary Fund warns President Biden and Congress about the dangers of the current debt spending. The IMF's report, Fiscal Policy in the Great Election Year, was released this week. It arrives as the cost of servicing the U.S. debt has been getting more expensive all year, with the 10-year Treasury yield closing at 4.6% yesterday, up from 4.1% from just 6 weeks ago. Now, interest rates on the debt are projected to cost $870 billion for the year, according to a new analysis from the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget. That makes servicing the debt $20 billion more than the annual defense budget. Amidst fluctuating stock prices, Trump Media's CEO has raised concerns with NASDAQ, seeking assistance to curb short-selling activities, a strategy where investors bet on the stock's price decline. This move highlights a critical issue. There aren't enough shares available to borrow for closing out those short positions, which could potentially trigger a short squeeze, which would lead to a rapid increase in the stock's price as short sellers rush to buy sales to cover their positions. This tenuous situation underscores a lack of confidence among professional investors who view betting on Truth Social's success as one risky wager. More than 100 students were arrested at Columbia University when the police were called to dismantle a pro-Palestinian protest encampment. This action came after the university's president, Ahmad Shafiq, promised Congress to enforce consequences for unauthorized protests. In an email to the campus, President Shafiq stated, "I took this extraordinary step because these are extraordinary circumstances." The move quickly escalated tensions at Columbia, already strained by ongoing pro-Palestinian protests, perceived by many Jewish community members as anti-Semitic. This incident marks a significant moment, reflecting the broader national struggle of national campuses to balance free expression with the tensions inflamed by the Israel-Hamas conflict. The U.S. plans to lease 245 million acres of public land for conservation, adopting methods similar to oil drilling leases. This constitutes about 1/10 of the country's total land area. Traditionally, the Interior's Bureau of Land Management, or the BLM, recognized as the largest landlord in the nation, has granted leases for oil and gas extraction, mining and ranching. However, in a groundbreaking move, the nearly 80-year-old agency will now also offer restoration leases and mitigation leases for the first time, targeting organizations committed to the restoration and conservation of public lands. India's Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, is poised for a decisive victory as India's elections unfold, signaling a continuation of his influential leadership. As Modi campaigns across India, he promises not just to maintain the status quo, but to intensify his administration's developmental initiatives. Speaking in terms of culinary courses, Modi describes his previous terms as merely the appetizer, with the main course yet to come, a metaphor for more ambitious projects aimed at transforming India. However, this anticipated third term raises significant concerns among critics who fear it could further erode democratic norms in the world's largest democracy. With Modi's party strengthening its hold on crucial regions and the opposition's influence waning, his administration's crackdown on dissent and political opposition underscores the pivotal challenges facing India's democratic fabric. Now let's turn to our in-depth focus, Trump's trial overview. So, what is this trial about? Although many media outlets call this a hush money trial, focusing on an affair between Donald Trump and a porn star has nothing to do with any crime. This trial is about hiding damaging information from the voting public during the 2016 presidential election and falsifying business records to defraud the American voter. And Alvin Bragg's statement of facts that he filed alongside his 34-count indictment makes that clear. Every count, as stated in the indictment, for, quote, falsifying business records in the first degree in the pursuit of election interference. And don't take my word for it. Listen to what DA Bragg told NY1 in January.
Ours is the case where we allege falsification of business records to the end of keeping information away from the electorate. So it's an election interference case.
Yes, you heard that right. He said it's an election interference case, and the law is pretty clear on election interference. Title 52 of the United States Code, titled Voting in Elections, concentrates on general and permanent voting and election laws. Section 205.111A of Title 52, which is part of the National Voter Registration Act of 1993, provides criminal penalties for a person, including an election official, in any election for federal office to, quote, knowingly and willfully intimidate, threaten, or coerce any person for registering to vote or voting. So what is the process and what are the outcomes? Judge Juan Merchan told potential jurors that the case centers on allegations that Trump engaged with others in a scheme to unlawfully influence the 2016 election. He said, to do so, Trump allegedly created false business records to hide the true nature of payments to his then lawyer, Michael Cohen, who made a payment to adult film actress Stormy Daniels to, quote, prevent her from publicly revealing the details of a past sexual encounter with Trump. To push back, Trump's defense is expected to focus on vehement denial, delays, and discrediting prosecutorial efforts, a tactic mirroring his broader political strategy throughout his life. Despite the intense media coverage and gravity of the charges, polling suggests that even a conviction might not significantly sway the electorate, indicating a deep polarization and questioning of the prosecutorial motives. And so where does that lead us? With all this effort, one big nothing. All this trial, even if Donald Trump is convicted, I don't see how this will forward the political discourse in this country. What are your thoughts on its potential impact on political landscapes and public trust in legal institutions? Do you think the outcome will have a lasting effect on future elections? Share your views below. Stay tuned for ongoing coverage of these stories and more, and make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and look over here for other episodes, and hit the bell for more notifications and never miss an update, and I will see you in the next video.